right now, approximately 50,000 Chinese women come to the United States each year to give birth, and then they go back to live in China.
I think many people know that the U.S. population is aging, and I believe that immigration is the solution as our birth rates decline to sustain our economy and our workforce.
It should not include persons who are here because of tourism, people born in this country because their mom is a tourist, either a legitimate tourist or one of these sort of fake tourists from China or wherever they're coming from, but also a much, much bigger group, which is people who are born here who are the children of illegal immigrants. Now, I believe that if one of your parents is a legal permanent resident or a citizen of the United States, just like now, the children should all be automatic citizens. So that is, it doesn't really apply to immigrants that I'm talking about limiting. I'm talking about limiting it to from illegal immigrants or tourists.
I rather think of birthright citizenship as a fundamental statement of American values. Remember where it came from, as pointed out a little bit earlier. The Dred Scott decision made clear prior to the Civil War that children of slaves were never citizens because the slaves were never citizens, and there was no way for them to overcome that. The U.S. then created the Birthright Citizenship Amendment so that those people born in this country, regardless of the citizenship status of their parents, would become citizens. I think it's a fundamental statement of the kind of country that we are, the kind of country we ought to remain. I think if we actually eliminate the basic concept of birthright citizenship, we're somehow saying, if you will, we made a mistake back then. We should have continued on the track of making citizenship an inherited trait, which of course it's not. We are a country who basically identified ourselves as a country of immigrants. We have thrived under that banner, and I don't think we should turn our backs on it.
My concern is that if we extend it beyond children of citizens or green card holders, legal residents, that we are incentivizing illegal behavior, because people will sneak across the border, stay in the country, come on a visa. And I know this firsthand because in 1996, when I was in college, a very close friend of mine was on a student visa from Kenya. And that was 1996. And now it's 2025. He married another student visa holder. They are still living in the US and they have 3 American-born children. And his argument for why he has not gone back to Kenya is, well, I have American children. And I just think that incentivizes illegal behavior. Visa overstays, tourism conspiracies, illegal border crossings, just for that incentive. And at the same time, it cheapens citizenship in regard to what people who come legally and actually migrate legally invest.
I'm a big fan of the intent of the Constitution. Unlike many of the words that were written in the original Constitution, like the first draft, we actually have detailed documentation about the debates during the construction of the 14th Amendment. Senator Cowan asked, "Is the child of a gypsy born in Pennsylvania a Pennsylvania citizen? If so, how about the children of Chinese?" To which Senator Conness replied, "Indubitably." This was one of the major reasons why the United States versus Wilkin Mark in 1898 went the way that it did. Now, if we disagree on this, that's fine. The solution is to change our Constitution, and we've done this before, like with the absolution of alcohol. Thank you.
I've been a conservative and a strict constructionist for 5 decades. And I have seen liberals and socialists talk about a living constitution, meaning that they can change the meaning of words in the Constitution to fit whatever their policy goals would be. And I'm outraged to see that this same tactic is being used by people who probably at one point had considered themselves strict constructionists.
If people are not able to access adequate healthcare or education or personal safety in their own countries, I would expect that we would want to address that problem by helping improve conditions in those countries through educational, economic, and political development. Birthright citizenship doesn't fix the problems that lead people to want to flee other countries. It only creates additional conflict. And furthermore, I do find that the idea of importing fresh young people so that the United States can compete against the countries that those people come from, I find that's a zero-sum economic approach. It creates brain drain in those countries. Instead of creating prosperity, it moves it around. So as we're looking at our policy, I'd like to zoom out and consider the effects that that policy will have on the whole world and in the years to come.
I'm going to let my interpreter speak for me.
Okay.
We registered separately, but we couldn't. We were a little late because we couldn't figure out how to get to the link. But this is our first time coming to Braver Angels discussion, and this is our date night, and we chose to do this tonight. And I'm really glad we did. This was, I am pleasantly surprised to see that people on both sides of issues can actually have a productive discussion. I'm greatly encouraged by this. So thank you to all the speakers and the questioners. I'm fascinated with this process.
And my name is Scott, and I approve of that message.
I enjoyed participating. I think at the risk of sounding hokey, but y'all are beautiful fellow Americans who love this country and want to work for solutions and improving our problems. And we have a lot of problems, and I'm just encouraged, heartened, even moved that there's, my brothers and sisters on this call that want to solve problems and talk about things and see if we can keep moving forward. So thank you.
But I'm an 83-year-old full-time psychotherapist. I'm a trans woman. My message is it feels so much better to be kind and to connect with people in a positive way. Being angry is a losing strategy for your mental health, and this is just why this is worth its weight in gold. You don't win, you don't lose, you have a terrific experience, and those are hard to come by these days. They really are. So thank you so much.
Okay, I enjoyed the whole thing, and I have softened my position. I'm sort of a little bit more in flux than where I started.
Well, it gives me great hope because I get in the hopeless a lot, and to know I don't think we're as far apart as we think we are, and for us to be able to talk about this in a, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Not in a totally emotional way and tearing each other down, and if we can do it and it can keep, spreading out. I'm one of those people that believes a drop in the ocean has a current. And so everything that each one of us does means something. If we can start this, maybe it will go to our legislators and we can get back to a country where we can live in and be proud of again. That's my thoughts.